I'm not going to mentor you.
Yes, you are.
I can't be the golden boy if I don't have the gold.
You work out so you're more aesthetically pleasing?
I don't think anyone is going to answer.
You tried to embarrass me.
We've got a really good story there. We just missed the moment to put the fire on him.
This storyline makes no sense. Triple H is a fraud. The internet loves to complain. And to be fair, sometimes the storylines do just plain suck. But here's the deal. If you're gonna complain, you gotta come to the table with some ideas. That's what we're gonna do today. 15 minutes, I sat down and came up with 15 ideas that we can institute instantly into WWE to make the product better. I want your comments and feedback, letting me know what you think of each of these ideas. Let me know how I did, and bonus points. Every time you comment, you get a chance to win this belt on my shoulder. At 20,000 subscribers, I'm going to give it away on my quest to quit my day job. So comment and subscribe, and you can win this, not a toy, a replica belt. All right, so the first thing we have to do is fix Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. How do we make it interesting? To do so, we're going to invoke 2029 Randy Orton. Next week, Randy's going to come out and say, all bets are off, Cody. I am no longer your mentor, but I am your mortal foe. I am 2009 Randy Orton when I'm at my strongest and I'm at my deadliest. And to do so, he just lays into Cody, trying to get into his head about how he is responsible for Cody Rhodes. And then he takes a sharp left and says, well, maybe I'm not responsible for Cody. Maybe Brandy is more responsible. And then Randy starts going in on Brandy Rhodes, Cody Rhodes' wife. And then Randy Orton is going to lay in on Brandy Rhodes, start insulting her, which will bring out Cody Rhodes. And Randy has to get the better of Cody almost every single time. Eventually, what will happen, Brandy's going to come out one time, Cody's going to try to stop her, but Brandy's like, no, I'm my own woman. I don't need you to protect me. She comes out right to Randy Orton and slaps him, right? And that will make Randy instantly attack Cody, right? He instantly attacks Cody. Brandy tries to get off him. He's going to shove Brandy down, all right? He's going to shove Brandy down, RKO Cody Rhodes, handcuff him to the corner, and this will then allow Randy to set his sights on Brandy. He will draping DDT her just like he did in 2009 to Stephanie McMahon as Triple H watched in horror. We have to repeat this storyline almost beat for beat because this was the most dastardly Randy Orton has ever done, and to do something this violent in today's WWE culture would be shocking. And bonus points, the following week, we could have Cody do a home invasion if we really want to do that as well. Next up, Stephanie McIntyre versus Liv Morgan. They're starting to get some heat, but I want to get some real juicy heat. Let's have Liv Morgan fly all the way down to Stephanie McIntyre's hometown. Stephanie made a big deal about how she was so poor and struggled so much growing up and how Liv Morgan couldn't relate to that. So have Liv Morgan say, you know what? I wanted to relate, so I came to your hometown, and have Liv Morgan just completely trash everything about how Stephanie grew up. And let's have her go to Stephanie McIntyre's dad and start just laying into her dad about how poor he was, how all these things. Let's make it uncomfortable. Let's make people actually hate Liv Morgan, and that will then get people to side more with Stephanie McIntyre. Now let's do Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. I don't think they're going to need a lot of help. I think Drew McIntyre, he will make that feud stellar. I would just add a number one contenders matchup stipulation to this match. Whoever wins at Mania, they get the first shot at Backlash, but I want Drew to go to the head office, maybe even Triple H, and say, my contract specifically said that I do not have to fight Cody again. And he makes a big deal about it, right? And he says, I either want my title back or I want Nick Aldis fired. And what they'll have to end up doing is say, okay, you're not getting your title back. The match is set, but we are going to suspend Nick Aldis, and look into matters. And Drew McIntyre's like, okay, fine, I'm okay with that. And then Drew focuses totally on Jacob Fatu. This then makes Nick Aldis suspended, and who's going to replace him? We need a temporary GM, and that spot will go to The Miz. The Miz becomes the temporary GM, and who's going to be his assistant?
I'm Danhausen.
His unwanted assistant? Danhausen. And we can even have Miz give Danhausen some tasks to do with the lower mid card. Who knows? Maybe we have a lower mid card battle royal at WrestleMania, because Danhausen did say one of his demands was for
You shall make Danhausen a WWE champion of some sort.
For a title. So we could bring back the European title, the 24/7 title, the hardcore title. We could have all those titles on a pole or something like that, some crazy in a coffin or something crazy that Danhausen comes up with. I'm not sure how we do it. But Miz is still like, he's a heel GM now. He will give Nick Aldis, hey, Nick Aldis, don't worry, I will let you wrestle. Because Nick Aldis was a wrestler, and he has stated that he wants to wrestle in WWE. So he put Nick Aldis on the roster, which will allow for Drew McIntyre and Nick Aldis to have a fight eventually, right? To have a fight eventually. But the more important thing here is Miz is the GM, and whose life will he really make miserable? Carmelo Hayes. He's still mad that Carmelo Hayes denied his tutelage, his mentorship. And so now Miz is like, Carmelo, you're doing such a good job with the U.S. Challenge. I got an opponent for you tonight, and that's Tama Tonga. And there's a lot of shenanigans, but Carmelo Hayes beats Tama Tonga. Awesome, great job, Carmelo. And you're such a great U.S. Open Challenge champion. Let's do another one right now. And that's Trick Williams. Trick Williams now comes out after a hard-fought battle with Tama Tonga, and he beats Carmelo Hayes, thus ending the U.S. Challenge. And The Miz kind of throws his weight behind Trick Williams. And Trick is just living his best life now as U.S. champion and having the support of the GM. This matchup can go all the way to Mania. Heck, it can go all the way to SummerSlam if we play our cards right. Now back to Danhausen. He's a free agent, so he is hopping back and forth, and Dirty Dom, his luck has ran out completely. Have him lose the AAA title as well, and he's just like, please, dude, I don't care if it's real, if it's fake, I need you to lift the curse. And I don't know if the curse has ever worked like this, but maybe we could evolve the curse a little. And Danhausen says, I'm not going to lift the curse, but you can lift it yourself. If you do something nice and very unselfish, out of character for yourself, then the curse itself will be lifted and you'll be a free man. And Dirty Dom's like, oh my gosh, what do you mean? What do I have to do? He looks up, he's like all dismayed, disheveled. He looks down and Danhausen's gone. And now Dirty Dom has to figure out how to lift the curse. So you can see him doing nice things for people, and it's not enough for the next couple weeks. We'll revisit this one in a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to do Oba Femi. Oba Femi is going to go up to Paul Heyman on Raw on an episode that Brock Lesnar is not present, and he's going to go, hey, Paul, I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell your client to close that open challenge, because if he doesn't close that open challenge, I'm going to answer it. I did not answer it the other night because that night was about AJ Styles, but next time he runs his mouth and I'm in the building, I'm coming out there. I don't think Brock realizes there's a new alpha male in town in the WWE. And of course, Brock Lesnar, he's not gonna, and he's gonna say, all right, the challenge, I'm laying it open. Who wants me at WrestleMania? And boom, Oba comes out, stare down. This is awesome. And it will be awesome, actually. So that's how we get there. And we explain the fact that Oba didn't answer the challenge immediately before. LA Knight is a storyline we need to start, and it's going to be a long-term story. I want LA Knight to get on the mic and say, I'm not happy with where I'm at in my WWE career. I should be champion right now. If by the end of this year, I am not a champion, a world heavyweight champion, a top champion, then I will retire. That's it, right? So now we have a year-long story of LA Knight chasing the belt, or he retires. Here's the deal. At some point, we need to have Gunther win the world title. Maybe in October or November. And then LA Knight gets a number one contendership. And we go into December. With Gunther as the champion and LA Knight with one last opportunity to either win or retire. And we're all like, uh-oh, it's a career killer. This is obvious that LA Knight's gonna lose. And we would have LA Knight win right here. I think that would be like, that would be huge. That would be huge because all year long, we're gonna see LA Knight getting closer and closer and closer just to come up short, right? He doesn't win the Money in the Bank. He doesn't win the King of the Ring, but he wins it at the end, just when we thought that they were going to let Gunther retire him. I want Chelsea Green to start an entourage, and I think Jordynne Grace would be a great addition. She could be the muscle. And I think Jordynne Grace is having a hard time connecting with the crowd. I think Chelsea Green can get that connection to happen. And I would also like Kit Wilson to join her. I think her, Kit Wilson, Elba Fire, and Jordynne Grace would be a great entourage. It would be hilarious. It'd be funny. They'll write themselves. We don't need to, we got to stay out of their way. Just let Chelsea Green write her own segments. And that's all. Just group those guys together. Let's do Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill. I actually said this one the other day, but I'm going to say it again. Jade Cargill's going to announce that she's coming to Raw to confront Rhea Ripley, right? Rhea comes to the ring and says, all right, where you at? And then some random dude comes out and gives a card to Rhea Ripley, and she reads it, and Jade says, change my mind, you're not worth my time. And then Rhea Ripley will like beat up the guy that gave her the letter. And then for the next couple weeks, Jade is just going to be ducking Rhea Ripley. But on Instagram, throughout the entire week, she's just at the beach, right? She's just at the beach living her best life. And then one random Wednesday or Thursday, we're going to have Rhea Ripley come into the shot as Jade is like drinking a martini or something, and Rhea's going to attack Jade at the beach. And then they're going to release it on social media. And then once that attack happens, then Jade will be more present in the buildings again. What about Sami Zayn? Sami Zayn, it's obvious he's going to turn into a villain, right? Soon he's going to turn into a villain, but I want Sami to make the conscious decision. You know what? I'm going to put my morals aside and become a villain to win a championship. But how do I do it? So he calls up his good old buddy, Kevin Owens. Kevin, I need your help because you are one of the most dastardly people I've ever met. And so Kevin, who actually has a real injury, we can have him as an on-screen talent as he trains Sami Zayn to be a villain. And I want Kevin Owens to send villains to Sami Zayn for Sami to train under. Like, we could have, every month, we could have a new villain, videos of a new villain and Sami training for Sami to be a heel in WWE. Imagine, one month it could be Bob Backlund. The next month it could be Scott Steiner. We could do Kevin Nash. Kevin Owens is overseeing this whole process. We could do it for an entire year, all the way to the next Royal Rumble or WrestleMania. I need to see Grande Americano backstories. He has like 50 years worth of footage. Let's start getting some of that together so we can start seeing it. And maybe we can even figure out why there are two Grande Americanos right now. But I'm telling you, the backstory, that it would be gold. As for Seth freaking Rollins, I actually have no idea. Like, I could not come up with one idea for Seth Rollins. So, let me know in the comments below if you have any, but you can't use Braun Breaker and you can't use Bronson Reed. We got to assume they're legit injured. All right, next one. Becky Lynch, the best in the world, and that's not just me saying it. That's Sports Illustrated, Bleacher Report, and I'm saying it too. Becky Lynch just says, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with the corruption of Adam Pearce. I'm going to go to SmackDown where there's a real GM, The Miz. And she's going to start fighting for the U.S. title. I just think that she did such a great job with the Intercontinental title. She could do the same with the U.S. and that could probably turn Julia into a babyface. I think Julia would be a great babyface and Becky could make that happen. So Becky then could be the first to hold all the women titles. I'd love to restart Asuka and Io Sky because it doesn't seem like they ever got their finale. I came up with this idea a while back, but we have Asuka come up to Io and say, yeah, you're with me again. And Io's like, no, I'm not. I'm so far away from this toxic relationship. It's not even funny. And then Asuka says, oh yeah? Well, what about this? Hands her a piece of paper, she reads it, and it's revealed that Asuka has some dirt on Io Sky. Whether it's, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a passport, a green card, or maybe it's back in Japan. Maybe it's back in Japan. Asuka holds the deed to Io Sky's grandmother's house. And if Io doesn't do what Asuka says, she will kick Io Sky's grandmother off the land. I know it's far-fetched, it's crazy, it's insane, but I want some insanity in my WWE storylines. So Io has to become an indentured servant to Asuka once again. Let's talk the undercard. I want everybody to have a storyline. Matt Cardona, I'm going to have him restart the Job Squad. The Job Squad is basically the people who will always lose no matter what. Think Otis, Tozawa. They would be great members of the Job Squad. Zack Ryder, he would have been a great member, but he's come back as Matt Cardona. But Matt Cardona's like, you know what? It feels like I'm in the same place I once was. I might as well just restart the Job Squad. And so he goes to Apollo Crews and he's like, Apollo, do you want to join? We're the Job Squad. And Apollo Crews gets super offended, right? He's like, what are you talking about? I'm a former U.S. champion. He attacks Matt Cardona, right? And Apollo Crews why am I not a champion right now? I was a champion when I really played up my heritage as a prince, and that's what I'm going to do again. And we bring back the Nigerian Prince Apollo Crews. I thought that was a great gimmick. I don't know why we got rid of it. He's so generic right now. Give him a gimmick. I don't know how we get here, but if we're not going to have Logan Paul versus Bad Bunny at WrestleMania, then it needs to be Logan Paul versus Javon Evans. That's one of the few matches where we don't even need that much of a storyline or a feud. It can literally just the matchup itself sells the story. Two more. Gunther is in the ring. He's gloating about taking the mask off of Dragon Lee and beating him up, and Rey Mysterio is going to come out and confront him. This will lead to a retirement match at WrestleMania. Gunther versus Rey Mysterio, and Gunther is going to beat him down. Remember what I said? How to break the curse? He has to do something super nice and out of character. He comes and saves his dad. The Danhausen curse is broken, and this, in essence, turns Dom babyface. To turn Dom babyface, he has to reconcile with his dad, and this is how we do it. Maybe Dom helps Rey Mysterio beat Gunther, or maybe he just saves him after Gunther wants to humiliate him, and we actually do retire. We do retire Rey Mysterio, but whatever the case may be, Dom saves Rey from a Gunther beatdown. And then we can have Gunther and Dominik fight each other for a little bit. And the final one is CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. They've done a great job so far. I don't think they need much help. However, I don't want to see just promos, and I don't want to see just pull apart brawls. So if we need to add some spices for this feud, then do this. Next time we see Roman Reigns, he comes out wearing a Larry the Dog t-shirt. All right? You know what? If CM Punk wants to bring up Roman Reigns' deceased father, then Roman can wear the deceased dog of CM Punk. And he doesn't even acknowledge it, but CM Punk the whole time is just seething that Roman would do this. And WWE does actually sell a Larry the Dog t-shirt. And then maybe the following week, CM Punk somehow, some way, him and Jey Uso are hanging out, but CM Punk uses Jey Uso to get to where Roman Reigns keeps his stuff, and CM Punk will steal the Ula Fala. And then he'll be like, hey Roman, you made fun of this bracelet, right? Well, what about this necklace? And you can't touch that Ula Fala. This will then cause Jey Uso to also feel hurt and betrayed and side with Roman Reigns. And there you have it. Now everything else, I just think they just need a little flavor, a little storylines here and there. But I think for the most part, that feud is going to be safe. Everybody involved there, they're top tier storytellers, so I'm not too worried about that. But if we wanted to take it one step further, we could have the person that gets the Ula Fala back be Solo Sikoa. What if Solo Sikoa got the Ula Fala back for Roman and said, hey, you know what? We've had our problems, Roman, but at the end of the day, we're family. And this could be how Solo Sikoa becomes a face. Tama Tonga could be even like, what was that, man? Tama Tonga turns on Solo, the MFTs go one way, and then babyface Solo goes another. Boom, came up with that idea right there on the spot. All right, boys, all right, girls, let me know. Did you like my ideas? Tell me in the comments below. Or do I suck? Do my storylines make no sense? Is WrestleChop a fraud? Let me know in the comments below. See ya, bye.